You might be holding a simple 5-cent coin right now. But what if I told you that some of these coins could be worth far more than just 5 cents? Stay with me, because today we're diving into 4 fascinating coins that collectors are actively searching for, and one of them might already be in your pocket. Let's start with the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel. This coin isn't just any ordinary nickel. The 1943 P. Jefferson 5-cent coin, commonly known as the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel, is one of the most historically significant coins ever produced in the United States, not because of rarity in the traditional sense, but because of the unique circumstances under which it was made. This coin was struck during World War II, a time when the United States government made critical changes to coinage metals in order to support the war effort. Nickel, the metal typically used in 5-cent coins, was considered essential for manufacturing military equipment, such as armor plating and weapons. As a result, the U.S. Mint altered the composition of the 5-cent coin from its standard copper-nickel alloy to a special wartime blend. The 1943 P. nickel is part of what collectors call the war nickels, which were minted from mid-1942 through 1945. These coins are composed of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. The inclusion of silver makes this coin especially interesting, as it is one of the few U.S. coins intended for circulation that contains a significant amount of silver despite being a low denomination. The total silver content in each coin is approximately 0.05626 troy ounces, which gives intrinsic value beyond its face value, depending on current silver prices. One of the most distinctive features of the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel is the large mint mark P located above Monticello on the reverse side. This was the first time the Philadelphia Mint used a mint mark on U.S. coins, making it a historic first in American numismatics. The decision to include a large mint mark was made so that the coins could be easily identified and removed from circulation after the war, allowing the government to reclaim the silver content if necessary. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. The word liberty appears to the left of Jefferson's profile, while the motto "In God We Trust" is inscribed along the left edge. The date 1943 appears on the right side. The reverse displays an image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia state, along with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and 5 cents. Above Monticello, as mentioned earlier, is a large P mint mark, which immediately distinguishes this coin from earlier nickels. In terms of mintage, the 1943 P. Jefferson nickel was produced in very large numbers, with over 271 million coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone. Because of this high mintage, the coin is not considered rare in circulated condition. Many examples can still be found in average grades, often with visible wear and tarnish. However, the silver content means that even worn coins retain some base value, making them more desirable than standard modern nickels. Despite the high mintage, condition plays a crucial role in determining the coin's value. Coins in heavily circulated condition are generally worth only a few dollars, mostly due to their silver content. However, uncirculated specimens, especially those with full detail and minimal contact marks, can command higher prices. Coins graded as MS-65 or higher by professional grading services can be quite valuable, especially if they exhibit strong luster and sharp strikes. One important factor collectors look for in Jefferson nickels is the presence of full steps on the Monticello building. This refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps at the base of Monticello on the reverse. Coins with fully visible steps are much rarer and are highly sought after by collectors. A 1943 P nickel with full steps in high mint state condition can be worth significantly more than a standard example, sometimes reaching into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the grade. Another interesting aspect of the 1943 P nickel is its susceptibility to toning. Because of its unique alloy, the coin can develop a wide range of colors over time, including shades of blue, green, gold, and purple. Some collectors specifically seek out attractively toned coins, as these can be visually stunning and unique. However, not all toning is desirable. Dark or uneven toning can reduce the coin's appeal and value. Errors and varieties also exist for the 1943 P nickel, although they are not extremely common. Some examples may show double dies, off-center strikes, or other minting anomalies. These error coins can be significantly more valuable than regular issues, depending on the severity and visibility of the error. Collectors who specialize in error coins often search through large quantities of war nickels in hopes of finding these unique pieces. When it comes to authentication, the 1943 P nickel is relatively easy to identify due to its large mint mark and distinctive composition. One simple test is to use a magnet. Unlike regular nickels, war nickels are not magnetic due to the absence of nickel in the alloy. Additionally, the coin's color and weight can provide clues, as the silver content gives it a slightly different appearance compared to standard nickels. The historical context of the 1943 P nickel adds to its appeal. It serves as a tangible reminder of the sacrifices and adjustments made during World War II. The change in coin composition reflects the broader effort to conserve strategic materials for the war, highlighting how even everyday objects like coins were impacted by global events. For many collectors, owning a war nickel is not just about its monetary value, but also about its connection to history. In today's market, the value of a 1943 P. Jefferson nickel can vary widely. Circulated examples are typically worth between $1 and $3, depending on silver prices. Uncirculated coins can range from $10 to $50 or more, while high-grade specimens with full steps can fetch several $100s or higher at auction. Exceptionally well-preserved examples with strong eye appeal and minimal flaws are the most valuable. Proper storage and handling are important for preserving the condition of these coins. Because of their silver content, they can tarnish over time if exposed to air and moisture. Collectors often store them in protective holders, such as coin flips, capsules, or albums, to prevent damage. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged, as it can reduce their value by removing natural toning and causing surface scratches. The 1943 P. Jefferson nickel remains a popular choice among both beginner and advanced collectors. Its combination of historical significance, unique composition, and affordability makes it an accessible entry point into coin collecting. Now moving on to the 1944 P. Jefferson nickel. The 1944 P. Jefferson 5-cent coin is part of the famous wartime series of United States nickels that were produced during World War II, a period when the country made significant changes to its coinage in order to support military needs. Under normal circumstances, Jefferson nickels were made from an alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel, but because nickel was a critical material used in armor plating and other military equipment, the U.S. government decided to remove it from coin production temporarily. This led to the creation of the wartime composition used from mid-1942 through 1945, and the 1944 P nickel is one of the most recognizable issues from that era. The 1944 P nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint and carries a large P mint mark on the reverse side above the image of Monticello. This is historically important because it marked the first time that the Philadelphia Mint used a mint mark on circulating coinage. The large mint mark was intentionally made prominent so that these coins could be easily identified and later removed from circulation if the government chose to reclaim the silver used in their composition. The presence of this mint mark makes the 1944 P nickel immediately distinguishable from pre-war Jefferson nickels. In terms of composition, the 1944 P nickel contains 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. This blend was selected not only to conserve nickel, but also to ensure that the coins would function properly in vending machines and other coin-operated devices of the time. Each coin contains approximately 0.05626 troy ounces of silver, which gives intrinsic value that fluctuates with the price of silver in the market. This silver content is one of the main reasons why these coins remain popular among collectors and even among people who simply search through old coins for hidden value. The design of the 1944 P nickel follows the standard Jefferson nickel layout, created by Felix Schlag. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The word liberty appears to the left of Jefferson's profile, with the date 1944 placed to the right. The motto "In God We Trust" is inscribed along the left side near the rim. The reverse displays an image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. Above Monticello is a large P mint mark, while the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and 5 cents complete the design. The mintage of the 1944 P nickel was extremely high, with more than 119 million coins produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Because of this large production number, the coin is relatively common in circulated condition, and many examples can still be found today in old collections, coin rolls, and even occasionally in circulation. However, the silver content ensures that even worn examples have a base value that is typically higher than their face value. Condition plays a major role in determining the value of a 1944 P nickel. Coins that have been heavily circulated usually show were on Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello, and these are generally worth only a small premium above their silver content. On the other hand, uncirculated coins that retain their original mint luster and sharp details can be significantly more valuable. Collectors often look for coins graded MS65 or higher, as these represent well-preserved examples with minimal contact marks and strong eye appeal. One of the most important features that advanced collectors seek in Jefferson nickels is the presence of full steps on the reverse. This refers to the visibility and clarity of the steps leading up to Monticello. Because these steps were often weakly struck or worn down quickly in circulation, coins with fully defined steps are relatively rare. A 1944 P nickel with full steps in high mint state condition can command a substantial premium, sometimes reaching into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on the quality and grading. The alloy used in the 1944 P nickel also makes it prone to interesting toning effects over time. Because of the silver content combined with copper and manganese, these coins can develop a wide range of colors, including gold, blue, green, and even purple hues. Some collectors find this toning highly desirable, especially when it appears evenly and enhances the overall appearance of the coin. However, uneven or dark toning can reduce the coin's attractiveness and value. In addition to standard issues, there are also error coins and varieties within the 1944 P series. These can include double dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, and other minting anomalies. While not extremely common, such errors are highly sought after by collectors who specialize in unique or unusual coins. The value of these error coins depends on the type and severity of the error, as well as the overall condition of the coin. Authenticating a 1944 P nickel is generally straightforward due to its distinctive features. The large P mint mark on the reverse is a clear indicator, and the coin's composition can be confirmed by its non-magnetic properties, as it does not contain nickel. The weight and color of the coin also differ slightly from standard nickels, providing additional clues for identification. The historical significance of the 1944 P nickel adds another layer of interest for collectors. It serves as a reminder of the wartime economy and the sacrifices made on the home front to support the military effort. The use of silver in a low-denomination coin highlights the extent to which the government was willing to adapt its resources during a time of global conflict. For many people, owning a 1944 P nickel is like holding a small piece of World War II history. In today's market, the value of a 1944 P Jefferson nickel varies depending on its condition and features. Circulated examples are typically worth between $1 and $3, largely based on their silver content. Uncirculated coins can range from around $10 to $50 or more, while high-grade examples with full steps can reach significantly higher prices at auction. Exceptionally well-preserved coins with strong luster and attractive toning are especially prized. Proper care and storage are essential for maintaining the value of these coins. Because of their silver content, they can tarnish if exposed to air and moisture over time. Collectors often store them in protective holders or albums to prevent damage. Cleaning is generally discouraged, as it can remove natural toning and reduce the coin's value. The 1944 P. Jefferson nickel continues to be a popular choice among coin collectors of all levels. Its combination of historical importance, silver content, and availability makes it both accessible and interesting. Beginners often start with war nickels because they are affordable and easy to identify. Next up is the 1961 Jefferson nickel. The 1961 5-cent coin, commonly known as the 1961 Jefferson nickel, is a classic example of mid-20th century United States coinage and represents a period of stability in both design and composition after the experimental wartime issues of the 1940s. By 1961, the U.S. Mint had long returned to the standard composition for nickels, which consists of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Unlike the wartime nickels that contain silver, the 1961 nickel does not have any precious metal content, which means its value is primarily based on condition, rarity, and high grades, and collector demand rather than intrinsic metal value. The coin was designed by Felix Schlag, whose portrait of Thomas Jefferson has appeared on the obverse of the nickel since 1938. On the front of the 1961 nickel, Jefferson is shown facing left with a calm and dignified expression. The word liberty appears to the right of his portrait, followed by the date 1961. The motto "In God We Trust" is inscribed along the left side near the rim. The overall design is simple yet elegant, reflecting the artistic style of American coinage during that era. On the reverse side, the coin features an image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home in Virginia. Above the building is the inscription E Pluribus Unum, while below are the words Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. Unlike wartime nickels, the mint mark on the 1961 nickel, if present, is located to the right of Monticello. Coins struck in Philadelphia during this time did not carry a mint mark, while those in the Denver Mint are marked with small d. The 1961 Jefferson nickel was produced in large quantities at 2 mints. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 73 million coins, while the Denver Mint produced more than 229 million coins. Because of this high mintage, the 1961 nickel is considered very common, especially in circulated condition. Many examples can still be found today in old coin collections, bankrolls, and even occasionally in circulation, although they are becoming less common as time passes. In circulated condition, the 1961 nickel typically shows signs of wear, particularly on Jefferson's hair and the steps of Monticello. These worn coins usually have little to no premium above face value, unless they are part of a complete collection. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster and minimal contact marks, are more desirable among collectors. Coins graded MS-65 or higher can carry a noticeable premium, and those in exceptional condition may be worth significantly more. One of the most important factors affecting the value of a 1961 nickel is the presence of full steps on the reverse. This term refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps leading up to Monticello. Because these steps are often weakly struck or quickly worn down in circulation, coins with fully visible steps are relatively rare. Collectors place a high premium on full steps examples, particularly those in mint state condition. A 1961 nickel with full steps and a high grade can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on its quality. Another aspect that collectors consider is the coin's luster and surface quality. Original mint luster, which appears as a soft, reflective sheen, is highly desirable and indicates that the coin has not been heavily handled or cleaned. Coins with clean surfaces and minimal marks are more valuable than those with scratches, spots, or other imperfections. Eye appeal plays a significant role, and coins with attractive toning or a well-preserved appearance are often more sought after. Although the 1961 nickel is not known for a wide range of major varieties, some minor errors and die variations do exist. These can include double dies, re-punch mint marks on Denver issues, and other small anomalies. While most of these errors are not extremely valuable, certain well-defined examples can attract interest from collectors who specialize in error coins. As with all coins, the value of an error depends on its visibility, rarity, and overall condition. The historical context of the 1961 nickel is also worth noting. This coin was produced during a time of economic growth and relative stability in the United States. Unlike the wartime coins of the 1940s, there was no need to alter the composition of the nickel, and the design remained unchanged. The early 1960s were also a period just before major changes in U.S. coinage, such as the removal of silver from dimes and quarters in 1965. As a result, the 1961 nickel represents the end of an era before these significant transitions took place. In terms of market value, most 1961 nickels in circulated condition are worth only a few cents to $1, depending on their condition. Uncirculated coins can range from a few dollars to several tens of dollars, while high-grade examples with full steps can command much higher prices. The exact value depends on factors such as grading, demand, and overall eye appeal. Proper care and storage are important for preserving the condition of a 1961 nickel. Although it does not contain silver, the copper-nickel alloy can still develop toning or discoloration over time. Collectors typically store these coins in protective holders, albums, or capsules to prevent damage. Cleaning is not recommended, as it can reduce the coin's value by damaging the surface and removing original luster. The 1961 Jefferson nickel remains a popular coin among collectors, particularly those working on complete date and mint mark sets of Jefferson nickels. Its availability makes it an accessible option for beginners, while the challenge of finding high-grade or full steps examples keeps more advanced collectors engaged. It serves as a reminder of a time when U.S. coinage was consistent and reliable without the need for major changes in composition or design. Now let's talk about the 1962 Jefferson nickel. The 1962 5-cent coin, widely known as the 1962 Jefferson nickel, is a continuation of one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history and represents a period when American coinage was still stable in both design and metal composition. By this time, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for more than 2 decades, having first been introduced in 1938. The 1962 issue reflects the standard features, materials, and minting practices of the early 1960s, just a few years before major changes would take place in U.S. coinage during the mid-1960s. This coin is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the same alloy that had been used for nickels both before and after the World War II period. Unlike the wartime nickels produced from 1942 to 1945, which contained silver, the 1962 nickel does not include any precious metals. Because of this, its intrinsic or melt value is relatively low and does not fluctuate significantly with the prices of silver or gold. Instead, its value is determined primarily by its condition, rarity in high grades, and collector demand. The design of the 1962 Jefferson nickel was created by Felix Schlag, whose work was selected in a national competition in the late 1930s. On the obverse side of the coin, a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson is prominently featured. Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, is depicted with a composed and thoughtful expression. To the left of his profile is the inscription, "In God We Trust," while to the right appears the word liberty, followed by the date 1962. The layout is clean and balanced, reflecting the neoclassical style that was popular in American coin design at the time. The reverse side of the coin displays an image of Monticello, Jefferson's historic home located in Virginia. Above the building is the motto E Pluribus Unum, and below it are the inscriptions Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America. The level of detail in the depiction of Monticello, particularly the steps leading up to the entrance, is an important feature that collectors pay close attention to when evaluating the coin's quality. The mint mark, if present, is located to the right of Monticello. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint do not carry a mint mark, while those produced at the Denver Mint are marked with a small d. The mintage of the 1962 Jefferson nickel was quite high, reflecting the strong demand for coinage in a growing American economy. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 97 million coins, while the Denver Mint struck more than 280 million pieces. Because of these large production numbers, the 1962 nickel is considered a common coin, especially in circulated condition. It is not unusual to find examples in old coin collections or rolls, although they are less frequently seen in everyday circulation today. In circulated condition, the 1962 nickel typically shows where on the high points of the design, particularly on Jefferson's hair and the details of Monticello. These worn coins usually have little to no premium above their face value and are often collected only as part of a complete set. However, uncirculated examples that have been well preserved are more desirable and can carry a higher value. Coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS-65 or higher, are sought after by collectors who value sharp detail and original luster. One of the most important characteristics that collectors look for in a 1962 Jefferson nickel is the presence of what is known as full steps on the reverse. This refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps at the base of Monticello. In many coins, these steps are either weakly struck or become worn over time, making them difficult to see clearly. Coins that display all the steps with sharp definition are considered to be of higher quality and are significantly more valuable. A 1962 nickel with full steps in a high mint state grade can be worth a substantial amount, sometimes reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its condition and overall appeal. The surface quality and luster of the coin also play a crucial role in determining its value. Original mint luster, which appears as a smooth, reflective sheen across the surface, is highly desirable and indicates that the coin has not been heavily handled or cleaned. Coins with minimal contact marks, scratches, or discoloration are more attractive to collectors and can command higher prices. Eye appeal is an important factor, and coins with pleasing toning or a well-preserved appearance are often more sought after. Although the 1962 Jefferson nickel is not widely known for major varieties, some minor errors and die variations do exist. These can include double dies, repunched mint marks on Denver issues, and other small irregularities that occurred during the minting process. While most of these errors are relatively minor and do not add significant value, certain well-defined examples can be of interest to collectors who specialize in error coins. As with all coins, the value of an error depends on its visibility, rarity, and condition. The historical context of the 1962 nickel adds to its significance. It was produced during a time of economic growth and technological advancement in the United States. The early 1960s were marked by increased industrial production, population growth, and a rising demand for coinage in everyday transactions. At the same time, this period was just before major changes in U.S. coinage, such as the removal of silver from dimes and quarters in 1965 due to rising silver prices. As a result, the 1962 nickel represents one of the last issues from a relatively stable and traditional era of American coin production. In today's market, the value of a 1962 Jefferson nickel varies depending on its condition and specific characteristics. Circulated examples are generally worth only a few cents to $1, depending on their level of wear. Uncirculated coins can range from a few dollars to several tens of dollars, while high-grade examples with full steps can command much higher prices. The exact value depends on factors such as grading, demand, and overall eye appeal. Proper storage and care are important for maintaining the condition of a 1962 nickel. Although it does not contain silver, the copper-nickel alloy can still develop toning or discoloration over time if exposed to air and moisture. Collectors typically store these coins in protective holders, albums, or capsules to prevent damage. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged, as it can reduce their value by removing original luster and causing surface scratches. So what should you do? Don't ignore your coins. Check your change, look through old collections, and pay attention to the details. That small 5-cent coin could turn out to be a hidden treasure. Before you go, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because you never know when the next coin you see could be worth a fortune.